Thank you for joining us for another episode of Fort Worth Roots.
An issue that people run into a lot is whenever a storm blows through, out-of-town folks show up out of the woodwork, right? They just pop out of everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
And
professional stormtroopers that come in from everywhere, it's easier for them to hide now. If you think about it, you know, you and I could go to Oklahoma City tomorrow, and in a matter of minutes, we could go get what everybody calls a burner phone, and now you have a local phone number.
yeah,
You can go to the fast sign place and get signs made, vehicle wraps, all that. So you can look like you've been in business forever. Nowadays,
within 24, 48 hours,
absolutely. Right? And, you know, we used to know a sign company here in Fort Worth. Unfortunately, Dallas-Fort Worth is the hell capital of the world. So it's more like people in our backyards running up to Oklahoma City is a lot more prevalent than people from Oklahoma City coming here.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem that I really have is not those guys. It's the local guy that was a painter and he got hit in the head with a hailstone and decides, I can be a roofer. I go buy me a hammer and... Or, you know, even more so, you got builders and remodelers that know subcontractors, and they're trusting a group of 20-year-old roofers to do the job right. And I can tell you, I've never had a crew here that I didn't have to teach them the correct way to put a roof on, our way, which is, you know, in our contracts. They want to argue with me, usually in the early days. But, you know, they want to save $50 here. Well, if you get one leak, that costs a whole lot more than $50 and ruins a reputation quickly.
Right. I know you said that you weren't really concerned about storm chasers, but the thing that bothers me about people coming from other cities or other states to take care of our neighbors here locally is that whenever they leave, if you have an issue, as many times, you're the expert here, you can back me up, sometimes there are issues. Maybe something needs to get adjusted, or maybe something wasn't quite right. They're not coming back to fix that.
Well, that's right. You shouldn't let somebody knocking on your door come climb on your roof. You know, if you got a big hailstorms hitting your neighborhood, the local guys aren't, you know, they're not usually needing to knock on doors. You know, we don't chase storms. Even locally, we don't go knock on doors. You know, people call us. We value their privacy, and, you know, but it always amazes me. I go around and talk to people, and they complain about XYZ roofers been knocking on the doors around here, driving us nuts, you know, this and that. And then I look up and they've got their sign in their yard. It's like, why are you rewarding them for that if that's, you know, the way you feel about it? But somebody shouldn't let somebody go on door to, I mean, I have it all the time where people call me up and say, a roofer was going down the neighborhood and he asked to do a free roof inspection. I knew I was going to use you, but I went ahead and let him climb up there, and he said, yeah, you got hail damage everywhere. Well, I wouldn't let somebody that I don't know on my roof at all.
Right.
And it has been, you know, there have been people to take a ball peen hammer or other things like that to create damage.
That's something I was going to bring up, too.
And I know somebody here in River Oaks that had one of the major insurance carriers said, this is not hail damage, this was created.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of thought it was the homeowner or whatever.
Right.
And I don't remember, something ended up happening, and the roofer who was under contract to do this roof when this all came up, he came up there and ripped the roof off real quick and put a new roof on and covered up the evidence. I know that they wanted this particular homeowner, they wanted them to come to Dallas to do a deposition against him. And we go do what we call a roofing tune-up. So we'll climb up on the roof, we'll do a complete inspection on everything, and if everything looks good, then we'll seal up every pipe that's on the roof. If it needs it, we'll repaint the roof jacks and all that kind of stuff, just freshen it all up so that when they get ready to sell it, it's ready to go, and I give them a written report that shows that it's been maintained properly and it doesn't need anything at this time. The other, you know, benefit there is if there is old hail damage, then we can get a claim, you know, we can get them to make a claim and help them through that process so that they get a new roof. And now the new roof is a selling point, because what happens most of the time is that they list a house, they get it, they agree on a price, go through all that, then they get an inspector out there who says there's hail damage. now all of a sudden, they're having to pay for a new roof or file a claim, and it's not.
Put the brakes on everything. Stop what you're doing.
So really what you should do is let that be a selling point.
Yeah.
If you're going to need a new roof, get it before you list the house.
Yeah.
Or, at least get it worked out where you can tell them they're getting a roof and you can put it in escrow or whatever.
Or if they don't need one, hey, we just had a roofing tune-up. And
that is the thing. So the thing with the tune-up is we get up there, and if we get up there and we find something that won't be repaired within that realm, so we're talking about a $500 fee to go up there and do that. Your listeners get that for $250. So if we get up there and we can't fix anything that's wrong and give a good report for $250, we stop. We call, we say, we can't do it for this. You don't owe us anything if you don't want to move forward. Or, maybe it'll cost you $700 to fix this given problem or whatever. But
yeah.
So that's the idea. They've got nothing to lose, really. They've got, if they're committed to spend that amount of money, we're going to come out there and give them a good report that shows them that the house should sell without any problems over that roof. Or if not, they owe nothing, or there's severe damage, and we'll get the claim made for you, and you'll have a good selling point for selling the house.
Right. Okay. So 50% off of that for the Fort Worth Roots listeners. And what's the phone number?
817-882-6520.
Nailed it. All right.
Tell Mark Andrew sent you.
All right, man. Well, I think that's it for today. I just wanted to make sure that we had a chance to get the word straight out of the horse's mouth.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that how they say that?
You can find the Fort Worth Roots podcast on all your favorite streaming services, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and more. Check us out online at fortworthroots.com, or to see this entire episode, go to YouTube and type in Fort Worth Roots.